everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to talk through some of the books that I would like to read this March. So it's a little ambitious for me, especially since my last month was not very good. I had tons of headaches, and when I have really bad headaches, I don't read very much. And I was just super busy, so it was very difficult for me to read the quantity that I really wanted. So that's why it kind of pushed me to make March a little ambitious. Am I going to read all these books in March? Maybe. I hope so. But a lot of these books are like really long. So I would have to fly through all of these if, I'm going to hit this goal. So let's go ahead and talk about the books that I would like to read this March. So the first book that I'd like to read is The Last Graduate by Naomi Novik. This is the second book in the Scholomance series, Deadly Education. That was the first book, and it was really good. I really enjoyed that book. The only downfall I had was the chapters were so long, and there wasn't really any like breaks in the chapter. So to me, it drug on, and it felt like it was taking forever to get through. So that was the only downfall. The story side was phenomenal, and I really liked the main character, Elle. She was a very interesting person. So, basically, she has this power, and she's been keeping it to herself on how powerful she actually is, because basically, her power could be used for evil. She doesn't want that, but it could lead her down that path. So all she's trying to do is survive the Scholomance. And in this book, I believe this follows her senior year. And then obviously to graduation. So you'll get to, in the first book, they talked about the graduation ceremony. So in this one, we get to kind of see that, is what I'm assuming based on the title. So if you haven't checked out A Deadly Education, I would recommend it. I really did enjoy that book. I'm hopefully going to get to this one as I'd like to finish this series this year. So yeah, I am excited to hopefully get to this one. Sorry about my dog. There is a delivery guy across the street, and he's a guard dog. So if you hear him barking, I apologize. He just likes to let my husband and I know that there's something not on the ordinary going on in the neighborhood. So the next book that I plan to read is the final book in the Seven Realms series, and this will be the first series that I will have completed this year. So I'm really hoping I can do that, and it is called The Crimson Crown. This is the finale of the Seven Realms series. So if you don't know, in the first book, basically you have two main characters and their paths cross. You have Han, who is basically an orphan, and he takes refuge with the clans during the summer, but then he goes in and out from the town to the clans, and he also used to be a gang leader, but he's left that life behind. But he knows how to deal with ruffians in the streets, got street smarts, all that kind of stuff. And then you have Reza, who is the princess heir of the Fells. And so basically these two paths, they cross some point later on in the book, and their destinies from there intermingle. And You've got wizards, which is the magical portion of this book. But it's got political scheming, it's got some romance, it's got adventure. So I really have enjoyed reading this series by Cinda Williams-Chima. I'm excited to see how it finally ends. I'm in the middle of the third book right now, and it is a whirlwind, let me tell you. So I can guarantee that this one is going to sum up everything. So I'm excited for that. Then the next book I would like to get to this month is Sword Catcher by Cassandra Clare. This book is her debut adult novel. It is set in a fantasy world called Castellane. And basically you've got two main characters. One, he is considered a sword catcher. So he's been trained his entire life to impersonate the prince. And basically that is for him to protect the prince. So if they're going to an event or whatever, usually he stands in for the prince just in case there's like an assassination, and several other occasions and certain things that he does. And him and the prince are friends and all this other kind of stuff. Then you have another main character who she is kind of ostracized, her and her community, because of the magic that they have. This town runs off of, I believe, trade agreements, and that is how they get power, based on the structure of the trade agreements and all of that. But I guess in this there is like a secret plot, and you'll get to learn more about that. And Cassandra Clare does a really good job with her angst. And I believe there's a romance in here. I don't know how prominent it is, but I'm excited to see what she does with an adult novel, because I have loved her Shadowhunter series ever since I picked it up years and years ago. So I'm excited to get to this. I can't wait. I love everything Cassandra Clare does. Next book I'd like to get to, and it is also for me to finish a series, is The Poison Song by Jen Williams. This is the final book in the Winnowing Flame trilogy. And let me tell you, this is so unique. I mean, the world, the characters, the adventure, everything. It is so neat how she was able to come up with this in her mind. Like, I've never read anything like it. And basically in the first book, it gives you a little bit of the history, and there is this people called the Borans, I think is what it's called. They are basically superhuman, kind of. They look human, they act human, but the thing is, they were able to survive off of this tree sap. Well, this tree died years ago, hundreds of years ago, after the last rain. And they had to supplement for them to be able to survive. Because if they didn't get the sap, they were not considered immortal. So they started drinking blood. And that helped suffice, but then it gave them a disease, which, you know, later on at some point killed them off. So now there's only a few Aborans left. And one of them is kind of like, he doesn't care. He's left. He wants to live his life. Where his sister wants to figure out how to get the city of Ibora back to its golden days. Well, there's an architect who is studying the 8th rain and the creatures that have been trying to take over the world. And so the Aborans, they ride these type of beasts that the tree of life, or their tree god, basically hatches. Like these eggs fall from the tree, or whatever they're called, shells, and then these creatures hatch, and the Aborans in them bond so they can defeat the enemy. And this archaeologist has studied these histories from a young age, and she is so enthralled with it. And then you've got basically a witch. She's got this power, and how this power is she lays a hand on you, she takes your energy, and she creates that into winnowing flame, basically, is what it is. So these three unlikely characters get together and they go on an adventure in the first book. Then you have it, and then the rest is history. You're just gonna have to read it, and I'm telling you, it's super good. I've really enjoyed it, so I can't wait until I finish this. The next story I would like to get to is The Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. I have heard raving reviews for this. Everybody loves it. I'm excited for it. I love a good love story, and it's got a fantasy atmosphere background to it in the plot, so I'm super excited to pick this up. I'll just read you the synopsis. That'll be the easiest. After centuries of sleep, the gods are wearing again, but 18-year-old Iris Winnown just wants to hold her family together. Her mother is suffering from addiction, and her brother is missing from the front lines. Her best bet is to win the columnist promotion at the Oath Gazette. To combat her worries, Iris writes letters to her brother and slips them beneath her wardrobe door, where they vanish, into the hands of Roman Kit, her cold and handsome rival at the paper. When he anonymously writes Iris back, the two of them forge a connection that will follow Iris all the way to the front lines of battle. For her brother, the fate of mankind, and love. I mean, that sounds amazing. It's like you've got pen pals, but they don't really know that they're enemies, and they get a bond together through these letters. So I am just super excited to pick these up. And I have the second book in this, so depending on how well I like this, I might pick the second book up right away. Finally, I'm getting to this book this month. Is Iron Flame. I've been holding off. I know. I should have read it right away when it came out, but I didn't want to read it and then not be in the world for the longest time, because I don't know when the third book comes out. I know she's working on it, but I don't know when it's going to come out. So I've been holding it off, and plus I'm going to buddy read this with a friend this month, so that way we can chat about it and say what we like, what we don't like, or just talk about the lore and all that other kind of stuff. So I'm super excited to pick this up. I will definitely let you know what I think. The last and final book I have on my March TBR is The Sunbringer by Hannah Canner. This is the second book in the God Killer series. I don't know if the God Killer series is going to be a duology, if there's going to be more. I guess we'll find out after I read this book. But I'm like super excited. I loved God Killer. I thought it was great. It was perfect length. It was everything. And so I bought this off Broken Binding out of the UK. So it's got the nice blue edges and all kinds of stuff, and I love it. I'm super excited. So I'll read the back of it. If you haven't read the first one, I don't know what this is gonna do, but I'm gonna read it because I think this is great. I am only a God killer, said Kissian quietly, her breath coming out in fog between her lips. I killed the gods already. What do you want me to do now? Save one, said An. Save the king who would be a god. fight fire with fire. Like, I am super excited. I like want to pick it up now, but I can't. I'm reading other books. There you have it. Those are all the books that I plan to pick up in March. I know it's very ambitious. I know a lot of them are long. So cross your fingers for me. Hopefully I can get to all of them and I can give you a nice, good wrap up for March. Let me know in the comments down below what books you plan to read this month, as I would love to know. So don't forget, like and subscribe and be good people.
When you feel it's hopeless, when you think that you lost,